Song of the Lord, written about 2,000 years ago or more. Maybe as much as 10 or 15,000 years ago. There's this like big controversy, right, about like how old everything is in India. It's like really old. It's got to be really, really old. Anyway, it is really old. Compared to like anything we have in America, it's really old. Like if it's say 30 or 40 years, it's a classic in America. Like it's 30 the classic. And this is the third of the three yogas, the three main yogas that are taught in the Bhagavad Gita. Although there are more yogas than three taught in the Bhagavad Gita. Right? My favorite is number four. Fourth yoga is Buddhi Yoga, the yoga of the intellect, which is a kind of a. There is a slight difference between that and Dhyana Yoga, the yoga of wisdom. I think you get to wisdom in part by cultivating the Buddhi. And vice versa, I'd say. People who have wisdom are also kind of intelligent. And people who are intelligent have the possibility of getting to wisdom. Buddhi means intelligence or intellect, and jnana means that transformative wisdom that could that can change your whole mind stream. And but not everyone who's intelligent can get to wisdom. There's a kind of intelligence that blocks you from wisdom also. An intelligence that is suffused with pride, for example. Pride in intelligence can block you from wisdom. And if you have that kind of problem, and there are some really smart people in this room, and some people in academics and people who've gone to very, very important high-powered universities and stuff like that. There's a tendency to get attached to the intellect, to the buddhi, and to think like to take this kind of like pride in it and to get attached to it, which is ultimately no different than being attached to your looks if you have good looks, or attached to your money if you have money. Ultimately no different, because you'll lose it, for sure. And the karma of pride, what they call mana in Sanskrit, M-A-N-A, mana. The karma of pride, especially pride in the intellect, is that you become very, very stupid in your next life, and everyone looks down on you and calls you names because you're so stupid. The karma of pride in your good looks is what, do you suppose?
Yeah, ugly.
Ugly. Everyone thinks you're real ugly. You see, the karma of pride in general is that you are looked down upon by others in the future. One of the karmas, they say, of pride, one of the karmic results, these are correlations, right? Karmic correlations. The cause is pride. What is the correlate effect? One of them, they say, is you become an animal. You become a chaturpada instead of a dvipada. Dvipada means like a two-legged one. Chaturpada means a four-legged one. And so instead of walking around like this, you're forced to walk around like this. Because when you were a human, you failed to go like this in front of anybody else but you, because you were so proud. So the karma is that you're forced then to go down. You see? And then that's an interesting karmic correlation. Yeah. So we started this course. We started this third part of the three-part course with an overview of what prevents us from practicing the highest form of yoga, the highest religious practice, and which is Guru Yoga. And first and foremost is pride. First and foremost. And the Gita goes into it. Talks about people who are demonic. They use pretty strong language, right? Demonic, asura-like people who are demonic by nature and who refuse to bow down to anyone, refuse to think that they need any help from anyone. You see. And that's a fundamentally secular attitude also. It's of course a deep-seated attitude in all of us. We all have, pride made the top 6 list, okay? In the Buddhist, big, how many bad kleshas there are? There are 84,000 kleshas, and they go, well, yeah, and then there are 6 really bad ones. And Mana made that list, so it's got to be up there. And it made the top list because we have it so often, you see. You know, it's not like, oh, that it's a really bad one that other people have or something like that. You see? It's a bad one that we all have. We all have this overweening idea that we don't need help from anyone. You see, there's an overweening idea that it's just like, you know, I can figure it out. I can do it myself and all like that. And it's a huge spiritual block. A huge spiritual. It's a block for a lot of different things, actually. You know, in the academic world, you know, you have people like, you have students like this. You just can't teach them anything because they think they know everything already. You see. There's a kind of humility that comes from great learning also, you know, there's a kind of like a little bit of a correlation, like you would be much more likely to have pride in someone who doesn't know much than in pride who's somebody who knows a lot, because the more you know, the more what you know you don't know about anything, about just anything. You know, any subject, take any subject. So the great masters of any subject tend to be humble, you see, because they know so much. But then there's the people who know a little bit, like a little bit of knowledge is a dangerous thing or something like that. Because they think like, oh, I learned 5 things or something about this subject that has 5 billion things in it. I know 5 things. So I'm really like, you know, top dog. I'm a hot shot, you see. And so pride blocks us from learning in general. And when it comes to the spiritual life, pride is, you know, C.S. Lewis argued it was the worst one. Of all the, what do you call it, the deadly sins? Pride also made that list too, okay? In the Christian deadly sin list. What do they call it? Deadly sins, right? 7 deadly sins, right? C.S. Lewis argued it was the worst. Of all of them, it was the worst. Because it's always, among other things, pride is always pride over someone, you see. It's always relative. You see, you don't have like absolute pride. It's always relative to someone else. So I'm better than someone else, so I can be proud. I'm prettier than she is, or I'm smarter than he is, or, you know, I have more money than they do, or something like that. And it's always vis-a-vis someone else. So there's a kind of a natural inegalitarian, inequality sort of kind of component to pride, and then there's this whole blockage thing. You just can't make any progress. You can't learn anything in general, and you certainly can't make any progress in a religious life. So we started the course with looking at verses like this, right? Of you know, people, you know, the people who just think that they can do everything themselves. And we're all like that. And the more secular the society, the more apt we are to be like that way, actually. So, you know, because why? And we're living in a very secular society, in case you hadn't noticed. A very secular time and place. And so why would it be very likely that pride would rise even higher in a secular society than in a non-secular society? Because nothing's sacred. That's what means. That's what secular means. Is nothing sacred, nothing special. There's nobody over me. There's nothing higher than me. Everything's just ordinary, normal, and flattened, right?